Hello, my name is Martin Fuentes and I am a teacher of English in Uruguay. I have a map here to show you where it is. Here it is. This small country is Uruguay. It's located in South America and it's surrounded by Brazil and Argentina. So in this small spot is where I live. Well, as I mentioned to you before, I teach English here for Spanish speakers. I'm here to show you a presentation I prepared about the use of technology in the classroom. But let me tell you that originally my idea was to go there with you to October and do a workshop with you on the use of technology. I'm convinced that workshops are the best way of learning because you actually do more than see. But likewise, I am here in this virtual version and I hope that you enjoy the presentation I prepared for you. During the presentation I'm going to talk about 4 platforms, 4 web pages that I use regularly with my students. They are Kahoot, Edmodo, Duolingo and Padlet. And so let's start, and I hope that you enjoy it. These are the 4 web pages I'm going to tell you about during the presentation. They are Padlet, Kahoot, Edmodo and Duolingo. I use Padlet and Kahoot during class time, and Edmodo and Duolingo to set homework for students. The 4 of them are for free, so you don't have to worry about paying anything, but you need internet connection in order to use the 4 of them. So here you see that the kids are holding cell phones, and yes, let me tell you that cell phones can be a very powerful tool if used correctly in the classroom. We know that they can become a complication sometimes, but we teachers also have to change our mindsets a little bit and see the potential that lies beneath these new technologies. And an example of how well they can be used is these applications and web pages that are appearing that can help us teachers in our job in order to engage our students and to propose new activities. Well, we are going to concentrate on Kahoot and Padlet more than on Edmodo and Duolingo. I don't want you to get confused with too much information, so what I'm going to do is to give you a brief overview of Edmodo and Duolingo, how they work and how I use them in my classroom, for homework in fact. But let's start with them then. Duolingo is used to learn different languages for free. I'm using Duolingo to learn Russian myself. I'm not doing very well, I have to accept, but the platform is an excellent one. Cyrillic drives me crazy actually when trying to learn Russian. But well, of course, with my students I use Duolingo for them to learn English. I ask my students to download the application and create an account. And once they have an account, I ask them to link their account to mine so I can see their progress. And I can do that through a section for teachers called Duolingo Dashboard. Maybe you know the application Duolingo, but don't know that there is such a thing as a section for teachers, and there is actually a section called Duolingo Dashboard. It's like a virtual classroom. Once you create a classroom for your students, you give them a code and they can join your classroom, and in this way you can track their progress. What I do is to set assignments for students to do. I ask them to make a certain number of points from one week to the next, and this is the way I use it, weekly, every week. The other web page is Edmodo. Edmodo is very different to Duolingo. In Edmodo, which is a virtual classroom, you send tasks to students once they finish the tasks, you grade them and you send students messages if you want to. But it's not something created by another person. It's you who sends the activities that you consider necessary as homework for your students. You may send them a video to watch and do something with the video, or simple activities like filling the gaps or filling the blanks, or maybe describing a picture. You send whatever you want, you upload it to that virtual classroom, and then the students do that activity, and they will know their mark once you grade it, of course. How the students join the classroom? Well, once you create a classroom, you have to give the students a code. In this sense, it's similar to Duolingo. You give the students the code, and then they enter that classroom and see all the activities that you post there, and then they are able to do it. Well, this is all that I'm going to tell you about Duolingo and Edmodo. I hope that you try it on your own and see and find them useful in your practice. I use it as homework, but maybe you can find another use for them. And now let's start with Padlet. Padlet is a web page platform that lets you stick notes, attach audio files, upload pictures, and write texts in the wall that appears in your screen when you enter a Padlet link. You and students can have real-time interactions through Padlet, in which the students see what the others are sending or typing. So at the same time that you post something, the other people are looking at what you are doing, so they can comment on that and they can see what you are doing all the time. Now I want you to see how Padlet actually works, so and to interact using Padlet. So please type this link in your cell phones: padlet.com/marfui/Kaztea. I'm going to give you a few seconds to do this, so you can try Padlet on your own. Well, now I'm going to go to the web page, and this is exactly what you should be seeing in your cell phones. This is the Padlet I created for you. It's very simple, as you see. The wallpaper here is a wallpaper of a beach, but you can change it in order to fulfill any aim that you may have. You can use the wallpaper as a trigger for the students to do something, as I'm going to show you later on in just a few minutes. But feel free to type here whatever you want. You can upload pictures, you can write comment just by double clicking on the screen, as I'm going to do now. You see, I create a new bubble and I can type, yes, whatever I want, and I can also upload a picture using this arrow, or if you prefer to add an audio, you can go to these options. I have them in Spanish, but you may have it in English or Russian. Here, the link of the microphone. You can upload an audio. Remember that all of us are going to see what you post, so be careful. But feel free to post whatever you want. You can also comment on the other posts here at the bottom of this bubble I created. You can comment on mine or on the other teachers. By this time, I guess that this bubble that you're looking at the screen, in which is just me and my picture, at this moment it should be with several bubbles created by yourselves, but I cannot see them because it's a video, of course. But feel free to comment whatever you want to. If you have any ideas to share, please do it here. I'm going to give you 1 or 2 minutes more before going on. Let me tell you that you can create a Padlet for the students not to post or write anything on the wall, but just to look at what is there in order to accomplish a task. For example, some time ago I just uploaded different kinds of information concerning products at the supermarket, and they just enter the Padlet link in order to see all that information and complete the exercise that they had to do. So it depends on what you want to do, is how you can use Padlet. In a minute I'm going to show you some kinds of activities that you can do with this platform. I'll let you type a little bit more. Hopefully this screen is full of messages that you're writing. I'm not looking at them. I don't see anything because this is a video, of course, but I will take a look at what you are posting. If you have any things to share, I'd like to see them too. At the end of the presentation I'm going to give you my email, so you can send suggestions or maybe share some ideas. Okay, now let's go back to the presentation and I will give you some examples of how Padlet can be used. Now I'm going to show you some ideas on how to use Padlet. In this slide, for instance, you can see a wallpaper of the map of the world. You could use this wallpaper in your Padlet and ask students to look for pictures of typical places to visit in the different countries and paste them here. You could even make it more interesting and ask students to add brief descriptions, writing them, or maybe recording their voices describing the place. Another idea of a wallpaper would be a wallpaper with animals, in which students would write brief descriptions, or again, why not recording an audio. As you see, the wallpaper can be used to trigger some kind of response from students. It's a nice idea to use the Padlet in this way too. And well, now I'm going to show you a Padlet I made with elementary students. I will show you the Padlet here on the screen, but if you want, you can join this Padlet through this link, padlet.com/marfui/famous, but again, it's not necessary, as we're going to see it here on the screen right now. And here we are. As you see, the Padlet is about famous people. The students had to write about some personal information concerning these famous people, family, where they live, and also why they are famous. Well, as you see, it's easy to make students use Padlet. You just give them the link and they can start posting right away. As you see here in this example, they also had to add a picture of the famous person. So not only do they write, but also look for information, download pictures, upload pictures, and these are useful strategies for them to create their own presentations in the near future maybe. Well, in fact, this is something that I will ask them to do in a few weeks. So, in a way, they are being prepared for that too. The last idea I want to share with you is related to the students having conversations through Padlet with the students that are located in another part of the world or in another high school. I'm going to tell you about an exchange I made with a teacher from Kazakhstan, from Kisilorda there. We created a Padlet and made our students interact through it. This was last year. And in this case, the students had to complete a chart. In the picture, one student here is using his cell phone and looking at the Padlet. He's having a conversation, a real-time interaction with a student in Kazakhstan, and he's completing the chart in his notebook. The student here and the student in Kazakhstan were chatting, but they had a task, which is very important. It's important to set a task, so for the activity not to become something messy and without any order. And it's also important that through Padlet you can see what the students are doing all the time. As they know that, they behave and they do the activity in the way they have to. This is very important too. And well, that's all about Padlet. These are just some examples, of course, on how to use it. I'm sure you can find out about different ways of using Padlet and integrating it into your lessons and making it work for you in the way you want. So if you find out any other ways, please share. And now this is all for Padlet. And now it's the turn for Kahoot. Kahoot is another web page I use regularly with my students, once a week or once every 10 days. When using Kahoot, the students are going to be playing, and for that they will need their cell phones or tablets. Also they can use computers. Maybe if there is a computer lab in your schools, you can play Kahoot there in the computer lab. But if you're going to play it in your regular classrooms, then you're going to need your laptop, which you're going to connect to a TV or to a projector. And of course, what makes everything possible is the magic of Wi-Fi. You need a reliable source of Wi-Fi to play it. Well, I know that some of you may be thinking that reliable is not precisely the word that you can use for your internet connections at your schools. And this is true for my schools too. Here sometimes we have excellent internet and sometimes we have problems and it's not working. And the thing is, what are we going to do in order to solve that problem? What I can suggest to you is maybe to gather with other 2 or 3 teachers, buy a Wi-Fi device and share it. And of course you're going to coordinate and plan together in order to decide when you are going to use the Wi-Fi device and when the other teachers are going to use it. But from that apparent complication, maybe something good could come up too. Maybe you start working together with the other teachers, planning together, sharing ideas, and this is something that we teachers need a lot, new ideas to renew ourselves as teachers. Why not? As a parallel outcome coming from using technology, you could start working together too. But let's go on. As I mentioned before, Kahoot is a game-based learning platform, and this is what you are going to be seeing in your classrooms if you start using Kahoot. This is the TV screen. This is what you see during the game, a question and different answers, and the students will have the different options in their cell phones and they have to choose which options they think is the correct one. The most famous kind of game In Kahoot is the quiz. It's a multiple choice game with the questions and 4 possible answers. They are with 4 different colors: red, blue, yellow and green. Here it says, where is the Eiffel Tower located? In red the answer is Paris, Rome in blue, Moscow in yellow, London in green, and the colors are here on the students' cell phones too, and they have to choose the one that they think is the correct one. As they are answering, you see the number of answers that are being given on the screen, and you click next when everyone is done, and the game will lead you to the results. Here you will see how many students answer red, blue, yellow or green, and it's a good idea here to stop the game for a while if you consider it necessary, and clarify some concepts, or ask some students to explain why they chose one answer instead of the other. Then you click next again, and you will see the points that are being made by the students. Of course, the points are being given according to the fact that they answer right. If they answered correctly, they will be given points, of course. Advantages of using Kahoot. Well, it's a great way of engaging students. I use Kahoot weekly to revise what I taught the week before. And the interesting thing about Kahoot is that it's you who create the game, the questions and the options. It's not that you have to use materials created by another person in order to revise what you taught, but it's you who creates the game and the questions. And here it says yes you can. I'm going to show you that it's easier than you may be thinking. I know that I talked a lot about Kahoot, and you may be thinking that there are a lot of things to consider, but it's not difficult. And I'm going to show you right now how to create a Kahoot on your own. So let's go to the web page, kahoot.com. This is the page, the main page. Here you see kids having fun, adults having fun too, and this is what playing a competition game has. People become very motivated. This is what will actually happen in your classrooms if playing Kahoot, hopefully. So let's log in into my account. You need to create an account in order to create a Kahoot. Here I'm going to click on My Kahoot to show you some Kahoots I created. These are all Kahoots that I created on different topics, on different parts of the year. Well, I want to show you how students join a Kahoot once you create it. When clicking play here, you're going to see how students join with a PIN number that is created by the game. So let's go there. So you see how students join. This is what happens when you are starting a Kahoot. You click on play and you go there. Students are asked to enter kahoot.it and write this PIN. Okay, I stopped talking there because the music appears. This is the music that appears each time you're going to start a Kahoot. But yeah, there you saw the PIN number all the students see and have to type in order to join. And as students are entering, you see the number of students that are entering and their names appear on that screen. Once all the students joined, you click on start and the first question appears and the game starts too. Now I'm going to show you how to create it actually, because these are Kahoots that were already created by me. But let's go there, new Kahoot. Here you have different options of Kahoot: quiz, jumble, discussion, and survey. We are going to create a quiz, which is the one that I talked to you during the presentation, about. So let's click on quiz. Once we click on quiz, we are required to write a title for the new Kahoot. I write biographies, just as I can write whatever I want. Here a description, we can write anything. And here where it says audience, we choose school, because this Kahoot is meant to be used at school. We can upload a picture if you want, but we are not going to do it. We are just going to create our first question. So we go here, okay, go. We can they remind us about the picture. Well, here we are, biographies, and we are going to start with our first question. So add a question, and as it is about biographies, I'm going to write something about a person, Michael Jordan, the basketball player. Michael Jordan. This is not a question. I'm going to write a phrase with a blank here. I can do that too instead of a question, and the students then decide what word should go there. Michael Jordan, blah blah blah, a basketball player, and here we write the possible options to go there in the blank: is, was, are, were. And these are the options that they will see on the screen. Now we have to choose which is the right one, the correct one. It is was, of course. Michael Jordan was a basketball player. So when students choose was during the game, they will be given points. And if we want, we can add a picture or even a short video. You can also add a video to a Kahoot and make students listen and see, and then answer a question about it. It's very nice. But here we are going to upload a picture. About Michael Jordan. We could make the Kahoot without pictures, but I'm going to use this one about Michael Jordan. So, uploading the picture, it will appear here, and this is the picture that the students will see while looking at this question. And it's not a question actually, it says question here, but as you see, I didn't type a question, I typed a sentence. Okay, so this is the first one. I type here, click on next. Here we have the first one, you see. So when students start playing the game, the first question in the quiz will be this one. Again, it's not a question, it says Michael Jordan, basketball player, and they have to choose was in order to get the points. We can edit if we want to change it, or we can delete it and write another question. We want to add another one, we type on add, and then we just complete on the question and answer 1, answer 2, answer 3, answer 4. We choose the right one, namely maybe this one, click on next, and this is the second one that we created. As there is no picture here, no picture appears, and you see it's very easy. We want a third question, we just do the same, follow the same procedure, and this is the way that in this way we are creating the Kahoot. So as you see, it's not difficult, it's very easy. In fact, once we are done, we click on save. Here you are. We can revise how it was done. Here you see that it has 3 questions, and I'm done. I click on here where it says I'm done. The new Kahoot that I created has to appear here. Biographies, here it is. It's ready to be played. It has 3 questions, as you see here. And once I click on play, a PIN number will be created for the students to join this new Kahoot. So, I hope that you found it not difficult and you start creating your new Kahoot soon. But now let's go back to the presentation and to finish with it. And before finishing with Kahoot, I want to show you a couple of pictures I took. This one was taken last week. Here the students are about to start playing a Kahoot. Some of them are with their cell phones, and in front of the class one of my students is using the laptop as I am taking the picture. Here I'm using a projector and this is the screen, but if you have a television at your school or high school, it works perfectly in the same way as I had told you before. And in this last photograph you can see a student who created a Kahoot. This photograph was taken last year, and after several weeks of playing Kahoot, I taught my students how to create a Kahoot by themselves. In this case, the students were required to create a Kahoot as part of an activity related to an oral presentation they had done before in front of the class. And the Kahoot had the intention of checking how much the rest of the classmates understood from such presentation. So, as you see, you can use Kahoot to do other things apart from revising what you have taught. It all depends on your imagination. And well, this is all I have prepared for you on Kahoot. And this is the time to say goodbye. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation and that you find these 4 platforms, Kahoot, Edmodo, Duolingo and Padlet, useful, and that you start experimenting with them soon. In a minute you will see my email address here in the screen, so feel free to contact me if you have any questions or if you have any ideas or experiences to share. I'll be happy to answer all your questions and also to put into practice what you have to share with me. So, it's time to say goodbye. Thanks a lot for your attention, and a special thanks to Tatiana, the president of Kaztea, who made this presentation possible. After so many emails coming and going, we could finally make it. So, thanks a lot to you also. So, bye bye. Goodbye for you all.